Good Monday evening, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful Monday out there. And listen, I know that the caption on the video says 11:30 a.m. update on Tropical Storm Sally. I do apologize for that. I forgot to update the actual title, but it is currently 8:30 in the evening, and I'm doing another update on Hurricane Sally. And for those of you who are new to this, I'm Stephen Ray, aka Stingray, and I do these weather updates because I am a weather nerd, I am a weather geek, and so I really like to keep people abreast of what's going on with the weather. And as this system continues to track on into the Gulf Coast of Mississippi and Alabama, I will continue to provide weather updates like this. And if we do have tomorrow night into the day on Wednesday, if we do have any tornado warnings, I will be right back here on social media providing long form tornado coverage for you guys, just as you have another way of getting severe weather warnings in case, your power goes out, your cable goes out. Just know that Stephen Ray, aka Stingray, will always be right here online to provide more updates for you guys as they become necessary. So let me go ahead and say good evening, everybody. As you can see, Hurricane Sally is still churning slowly here over the northern Gulf. And as you can see, I'm zoomed in here. Here is the city of Gulf Shores. Let me go ahead and circle that for you. There is Gulf Shores, right where I-59 comes to a T right there to Perdido Beach Boulevard, where the hangout would be. That is where downtown Gulf Shores would be. It's where I have circled. And let me go ahead and show you that from downtown Gulf Shores, the center of circulation of Hurricane Sally is now 85 miles just off to the south. But the bad news is that this storm is going to stay over the Gulf until sometime tomorrow evening and into the pre-dawn hours of Wednesday before she makes her initial landfall. So that could mean that this storm could have the potential to go on ahead and strengthen even further. Now, as of 8 o'clock, the new advisory from the National Hurricane Center had the maximum sustained winds of Sally currently at 100 miles per hour. And let me put this into motion for you. And as you can see, it is very, very slowly creeping to the north at 5 miles per hour. That is not good news if you are in Florida, the Gulf Coast of Alabama, or on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, because you guys could see historic proportions of flooding issues with this system as it wants to sit over the same area for so long. Now, let me zoom in here and show you that the weather is really, really deteriorating right now. If you were in Gulf Shores, if you were in Orange Beach, if you were over here towards the Warrington or the Pensacola area, as the first initial wave of rain is coming into the Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, and Pensacola area. And this is just the start of a long, long, difficult, hard period of heavy rain, wind, and hurricane force winds. Now, the hurricane force winds in Gulf Shores and down in Orange Beach will not begin until sometime tomorrow evening, like around this time. But right now, with this band, let me go ahead over here to the radar to base velocity and show you that this rain is putting out winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. And you got to remember that this radar beam is just off the ground. So about 2,000 feet off the ground, she is producing 50 to 60 mile per hour winds right now coming on shore over here towards Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. And let me go over here. 58 mile per hour wind is being produced just above the surface up here in the Pensacola area as well. So that is the current situation of where Sally is right now, which, like I said, it is 85 miles to the south of Gulf Shores, moving off to the west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. So let me take you on over here to the internet for a second, because I want to break it down region by region. I want to go from Birmingham to Mobile to Jackson and New Orleans as well, to kind of give you guys a perspective on what exactly this storm is going to do over the entire region. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go back over here to the internet real quick, and your screen is going to go black for a brief second, and then you will pop up and see another image. So I do apologize, and there it goes to black. I apologize about that. And here we go. Okay, so if you are in central or southern Alabama, including Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden, Anniston, you guys could see anywhere from 4 to upwards of 10 to 12 inches of rain. Now, for Tuscaloosa, you can see it has shifted. The track has shifted a little bit further to the east, which would put the landfall closer to the Alabama-Mississippi state line, which would push all of the excessive rain on off to the eastern side of the storm. So basically, you can see Mobile, 10 to 15 inches of rain. You can see Jackson, Alabama, which is in Clark County, is 8 to 10 inches. Then Demopolis has been reduced. Earlier today, it was 10 to 12. It has now been reduced to 6 to 8 inches of rain. And Tuscaloosa, for right now, is still looking at 4 to 6 inches of rain between tomorrow and through Friday morning. So once again, for Tuscaloosa and points around Tuscaloosa, 4 to 6 inches of rain are possible with higher amounts. Now, as you go over here into East Alabama, you can see Birmingham, 6 to 8 inches. Then getting over here towards the Anniston area, 8 to 10 inches of rain. And I cannot rule out some isolated 12-inch amounts wherever those bands like to train and set up, and it's going to depend on where exactly this storm comes in and where it tracks across, because usually on the western side of the storm and the western side of the circulation is the driest side of the storm. The eastern side is the worst and the wettest. So that's the deal in central Alabama. Now, if you were over here in Mississippi, as you can see with the eastward track, you can see now that we're only supposed to see upwards of 4 to 6 inches of rain, whereas earlier it was supposed to be 6 to 12 inches of rain, which is a lot better for my friends over here in Hattiesburg and the Pine Belt area of Mississippi, but it's worse for my friends over here in central and southern Alabama. And also, with the eastward progression of this storm, the winds have also shifted off to the east. So as you can see, for Laurel and Hattiesburg, you guys are supposed to see 30 to 40 mile per hour winds with an occasional gust upwards of 50 to 60. And power outages are very possible within the Pine Belt area. And then a limited threat of winds upwards of 35 miles per hour has been shifted off to the south and does not include the Jackson, Mississippi metro like it did earlier this afternoon. And because of, like I said, the winds of 30 to 40 with gusts upwards of 50 to 60 over the Pine Belt area of Mississippi, the National Weather Service continues the tropical storm warning for the Pine Belt area, but they have dropped it for the Macomb, Mississippi area. So once again, this is going to be a significant wind damage and flooding threat for the areas to the east and to the north of where the track ultimately makes landfall. Now, if you are over in the New Orleans or Baton Rouge area, they are still expected to see, because Sally is going to sit over the area for an extended period of time. It looks like that New Orleans could see upwards of 8 to 16 inches of rain with locally higher amounts, and they could possibly reach up to 24 inches of rain possible within this location. So this is a significant impact for the greater New Orleans area. Also, I need to also mention that the storm surge to where the east and to the right of where the storm comes in could be upwards of 6 to 9 feet over where it's supposed to be. And once again, that is to the right of where the storm makes landfall. And finally, what are the impacts of 15 to 25 inches of rain? And this is for basically anywhere. This is from NOAA. Homes and businesses will be flooded. Flooding will prompt evacuations and rescues. Flooded roads could make travel and potential evacuations very difficult. Some roads may erode from underneath, creating hidden dangers, and locations that usually do not flood will be covered in water. So that is a very significant threat of flooding. So now let me go ahead and just state this. I am getting extremely concerned about the hurricane strengthening into potentially a Category 2 or a Category 3 before it ultimately makes landfall, because of the speed that is going and the duration of the time that is going to stay over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. So what I want to do now is I want to take you in here and go through some model runs and just kind of see where the models want to take Hurricane Sally. Now, I also need to mention that Hurricane Sally currently does still have winds of 100 miles per hour, and the next update from the National Hurricane Center will be in 2 hours at 11 p.m. But I will not be producing another video like this until in the morning sometime to kind of give you guys an update on what happened overnight. All right, so this right here is currently the hurricane wharf that I like to use and weather people like to use. And I really like this model right now because this model handled Hurricane Laura a few weeks ago perfectly. It handled where she went inland and her intensity track as well. So this is what I'm going to use, the hurricane wharf. We're also going to take a look at the North American model and the GFS. All right, so let's start here with the hurricane wharf. Okay, and this one right here on Tuesday, and that would probably be tomorrow night, probably about 11 o'clock. This one wants to take it closer to the Biloxi, Mississippi area. Now, let me go ahead and just say this. Just a second here. This one model wants to take the storm into the area of Pascagoula and Moss Point, Mississippi. And this one right here, let's see, at a millibar of 950, that would easily be a Category 3 hurricane. Once they reach over Category 3 or higher, they become a major hurricane. So this would be a significant wind damage threat for places like Pascagoula, Gulfport, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, Gulf Shores, Dauphin Island, and eventually Orange Beach, unfortunately. But if this was the case, the storm, as you can see, would not be as problematic for the New Orleans area because it would be pushing into coastal Mississippi rather than southeast Louisiana. And then from there, it just kind of meanders around in South Alabama and throws a lot of rain upwards towards the north. And actually, if that one were to verify, that would put a lot of rain over the Tuscaloosa and Birmingham areas, because as you can see, Tuscaloosa would be about right here, Birmingham would be about right here, and the orange and red rain and yellow stays over the area for quite some time. So that is one model. That model, like I said, wants to take it into Pascagoula, Mississippi. I can't rule out the possibility of it going even further to the east the next time the model comes out. But that one right now, as of right now, the most latest Hurricane Wharf model wants to take this thing into Pascagoula, Mississippi. Okay, so let's go over here and look at the North American model. And give me just a second. Okay, this one is not going to be as tight in the area like the other one was, so I do apologize, but I will try to do my best to show you where this system is going to go inland. Okay, and actually, as we speak, this model is currently coming out. It is the new data from the 0Z, and it is only out a couple of hours through 7 hours. So let me step this back to the 18Z, which was earlier this afternoon, and let's see where it takes it. Now, this one wants to take the pressure down to 942, and that one would be on the range of a Category 4 storm before it makes landfall. And this one also wants to take it into the Pascagoula, Mississippi area, which would throw a lot of weather and horrible weather over here towards Mobile, Gulf Shores, and Orange Beach. And let's see where it goes from there. See, now this one wants to cut it more off to the east rather than the north and pull it more towards Selma and Montgomery. And if that were the case, Tuscaloosa, by comparison, is right here, and we would be on the drier west side of the storm and not really see that much rain, not really see that much wind, and not see that possibility of tornadoes, because we would be on the western side of the storm. So if this model verified, basically from Montgomery points down towards Auburn, Troy, Eufaula, down there would see the tornado threat and the damaging wind threat from this storm, and not necessarily West Alabama. All right, so that is currently the NAM. Now, this different North American model, there are different kilometers of the North American model. This one actually from earlier this afternoon wants to take it upwards of Mobile Bay. So that is very problematic for places like Orange Beach and Gulf Shores and the Alabama Gulf Coast. And I'll be honest with you, if this model verifies, Tuscaloosa would not see very much of anything, because it would cut it across southeastern Alabama and then go into the Georgia area. Okay, and one last one. Let's look at the GFS for Hurricane Sally, and let's see where the GFS takes it. And the 0Z from the GFS is not out yet, so that's good. So we have 18Z data. Okay, now the GFS is further off to the west GFS wants to put this into the Gulfport, Bay St. Louis, and Waveland, Mississippi areas. And let me see. That would be a Category 2 storm, and let's progress it along and see where it goes after it makes landfall. That one actually goes a little bit like the Hurricane Wharf. It goes up to a point of about Butler, Alabama, and then pulls everything off to the east. If that were the case, Tuscaloosa and Birmingham would see quite a bit of rain and wind energy with this storm as well. So basically, let me check one more model while I've got you here. My goodness. Okay, so this is the high resolution rapid radar, which is called the HRRR model, which really gets in tight and does it hour by hour, and it updates every single hour. This is the brand new data that goes out from now through 36 hours, and that would be sometime on Wednesday. All right, so let's take a look at this and see where it wants to take it. And as you can see, there is midday Tuesday, and it's still hanging out in the central Gulf, and then it wants to try to take it back off to the east and go towards Pensacola and Destin. So I can't really rule out anything right now with this tropical system. Now, let me take you back over here. Okay, so here is Hurricane Sally as we speak. Let me go back and make sure that you guys can actually see this. Give me just a second. You cannot. Okay, now we're popped up. There we go. Okay, so we currently have Hurricane Sally that is spinning in the northern Gulf. But like I said, it is continuing to creep on along, and that is not a good thing. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle where I think the best place of landfall would be based on what I'm seeing. Anybody that lives in that zone right there from Waveland, Mississippi, all the way over to Gulf Shores and possibly even over as far as Pensacola, you guys need to really watch the progression of the storm over the next 16 to 18 hours, because this thing could really rapidly intensify like it did today and become possibly a Category 2 or a Category 3 before it makes landfall. And I would really pay attention if I was in Waveland, Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula, and especially up Mobile Bay. Also, now let me go ahead and zoom out. Now I'm going to show you where it is possible that this storm could make landfall. So the cone of uncertainty with this system is a lot greater because it could, get to the Gulf and then pull off towards the east and go to Navarre Beach. Or it could continue on off to the west and go overneath the Buras and New Orleans area towards the Baton Rouge area as well, and then turn off to the east. So there are a lot of scenarios that are possible with Hurricane Sally. And real quick, while I've got you here, I want to do one quick thing. There are a couple of tropical showers that are ongoing south of Columbus, Mississippi, over towards the Artesa, Crawford, Starkville, Octok, and Brooksville area. Now, these are the showers that are from the spiral rain bands of Hurricane Sally. And real quick, while I'm doing that, because usually when you have a landfalling tropical storm, you can get the spin up quick tornadoes. So the good news is up here with these individual showers, I do not see any sign of rotation around the area. So that is good. And real quick, one more time. There's also a band of showers and storms that are coming through the Pine Belt area from Collins down to Bassfield to Columbia, down to Tylertown, Mississippi as well. Let me put this into motion for you real quick. And they are moving towards New Hebron, Monticello, Brookhaven, and Macomb, Mississippi. And these things are really racing off. And I would bet that they're going to pack a little bit of wind with them as well because of the wind energy that is associated with tropical and Hurricane Sally. And the good news is with those, I do not see any signs of rotation as well. So once again, let me just go back over here and show you the big picture again one more time. There is Hurricane Sally as it continues to meander in the northern Gulf Coast. And the weather is getting really bad if you're in Gulf Shores, if you're in Orange Beach, if you're in Pensacola. And it's about to get really bad if you're in Dauphin Island, watching me or know anybody there, because these rain bands are about to come on through. And eventually it will make it up to Daphne, Mobile, and Fairhope. So guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you guys for watching me. I will be doing more updates like this tomorrow. And tomorrow night, when we get closer to landfall, I will be doing longer videos about where this thing makes landfall. And as always, like I said at the start, if there are any warnings that pop up, any tornado warnings, I will be right here doing long form tornado coverage to give you guys the best possible safety precaution and tips to help keep you safe and ahead of the storm. So once again, I am Stephen Ray, aka Stingray. Thank you guys for liking and watching this video. Please share it with your friends and your family. And as always, stay safe. See you guys tomorrow.